Melissa. Happy New Year's. This year, 2023, ends tonight. Yeah. Yay! What a perfect time to imagine the future. What will 2024 be like? What will we be like in 2024? Do we want to keep being who we were last year, or is there something about us that we want to change? In this particular moment, New Year's Eve, it's normal to check in with ourselves. Should I be paying more attention in math? Am I getting too angry at home? Should I be more patient with other people when I'm shopping? Should I be eating or exercising differently? You know, most people like to make a New Year's resolution. Now, for the youngest members today, I would describe a New Year's resolution as a promise you make to yourself about how you will behave next year. Like, I promise I'll listen to my teacher more next year. I wonder if anyone here has a New Year's resolution. We know Liz doesn't. Take a moment, if you do, and share it with folks next to you if you want. I'll give you a sec. And we're back. All right. So resolution, I looked it up. Resolution means two things. Mostly it means a firm decision to do or not do something. For example, I resolve to clean the living room, or I resolve to eat less candy. But resolution also implies a quality of firmness, of not budging on your promise. So if I say, I resolve to clean the living room, it means nothing is going to stop me from cleaning that living room. Resolution doesn't mean, I'll clean it when I feel like it, or I'll clean the living room as long as it doesn't conflict with something else. It means I'm cleaning this living room. That's what's hilarious to me. We tend to use the word resolution when what we mean is intention. The word that's most firm, we use the most squishy. Like, oh, it would be better if. Think about it globally. We've seen over and over how leaders of the world will gather together and sign an international resolution. Like, we resolve to use less fossil fuels. And then they don't. Or they do, and then the next president gets elected and says, I don't want to. If you look at home, you might have said last year, I resolved to eat less candy. And then like 5 or 6 days later, you start thinking to yourself, you know what tastes really good? Candy. But New Year's Eve comes to us when it's cold and it's dark out, right? The trees, the birds, the rabbits, the fish, they're all slowing down. Even the sun appears to be taking a few weeks off. The world gathers itself, hunkers down for a bit, and we use this moment to check in with ourselves. Where am I right now, and does this fit with who I want to be? In that spirit, I'd like to do an activity with you to help us explore who we are and who we want to be. In your order of service, you should find a half sheet of paper, and there should be pens and pencils in each pew. So please take a moment to get a pen or pencil. If you're online, I will describe this activity to you. You'll just need a piece of paper. And it's okay if you just want to vibe it right now and do the activity later. You have a half sheet of paper that's a Venn diagram of 3 circles. The circle on the left says, my love, my love. So we're taking a moment to think about activities or skills that you love to do, activities that bring you joy. Do you love writing, moving your body, making music or art, talking to people, building stuff, cooking, gardening? being out in the woods. What brings you joy? In that circle, write just a few things, the things that leap to your mind right now. If you don't like writing, you can draw them or share with a friend. Take a moment to write one or two things that you love to do. We'll go on to the next circle. It's okay if you didn't finish. I'm not collecting these and grading them. Or am I? Okay. The next circle says our values. We have awesome values as Unitarian Universalists. We value seeing everyone as inherently worthy, making sure that everyone is treated fairly and kindly, encouraging one another to grow, having the freedom to find your own path, democracy in action, world peace, the interconnected web of life, justice and equity. Those are values that you can find in your hymnal about 6 pages in, right? That's our UU values. Maybe when we talk about values, you're thinking about something else, like helping people who are pushed down by society, which fits within those. I invite you to write a value that speaks to you right now, a value from our Unitarian Universalist heritage that speaks to you. Or if you don't want to write out the whole thing, just a few key words: justice, compassion, equity. Or draw it. The third circle in your Venn diagram says help wanted. The world needs a lot of help, yeah. What among the world's many needs leaps out for you in this moment? Is it free and fair elections? Is it more kindness to one another? Is it saving our fragile ecosystems? Is it housing and food support for all? What arises in your heart in this moment as a place where the world needs help? Write that in that circle. This is hard. You're doing great. No one's gotten up and left yet. So we have these 3 circles: what you love, what we value, and what the world needs. And maybe, just maybe, they overlap. Maybe there's something in the center of those 3 circles. What's at the center on your piece of paper? That's $1 million question. I'm asking us to think about what we feel called to do in 2024. And gosh, is that a different conversation than what you resolve to do, like eat less candy? There was a theologian named Frederick Buechner, and he said that you know what you're called to do when you find the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. He called that your vocation. He meant, what do you love to do? What does the world need? When you find where those overlap, do that. Maybe you're already seeing the center of your 3 circles right away. Here's an example. Oh, I love being out in the woods. I value our interconnected web of existence, and I worry about the fragile ecosystem. I'm going to volunteer to clean up rivers and forests and hiking trails this year. But for most of us, finding that center in those 3 circles might take a while. It'll pop into your head later today or next week. A thought that connects these 3 circles. A thought that says, I can help the world in 2024 by living out this UU value by doing this thing that I already love. But don't rush it, let it compost. And now a science experiment. First, let's make sure my lavalier mic is working, yes? Yes. Great. Some of you may already know this one. This is big rocks, stones, and sand. Raise your hand if you've already done this. Okay, good. That means a lot of you don't. That's good. So, symbolism here. Big rocks are the most important things in my life, the things I value. Stones are work stuff, tasks, get it done stuff. Sand is TV. It's fun stuff that doesn't have anything to do with my values, but I end up filling up my time with it. So, not important, kind of important, values. So, this jar is me, symbolically. This is a day in my life, how I spend my time. And I've put a cloth here because the rocks make a lot of noise, but maybe it's also sleep, who knows? So, let's go through a day as I spend it. So I wake up and I read the sports section because I apparently care a lot about the Packers offensive line. And then I do Wordle. I'm going to be honest, I do a lot of Wordle. I do like Wordle too often. Okay, I spend a lot of time on Wordle. I do like to watch a little bit of TV at lunch if I can sneak it in. And I like to watch something funny before I go to bed every night. So usually I commit myself to an hour and a half. Okay, I should probably get to work at some point, right? So I work every day. Whoa, almost lost Thursday there. I work a couple nights a week, if I'm being honest. I'm even working on Sunday. Okay. Values. I'm a dad, right? So I'm going to value my family. And then I got my value for anti-racism, my interdependent web of existence, ecosystem values, free and fair elections. This is embarrassing. I think I did this wrong. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. Let me try this again. I got an idea. Okay, we'll try again. Intern mistake. Okay. Let's start with my values, yeah? Okay, that seems symbolic. All right, so as I said, I'm a dad. Let's see, anti-racism, free and... Values take up a lot of space. Values require a lot of space. I'm only one person. I think I need to pick one other value besides being a dad this year. 2024, I'm going to say free and fair elections. That seems on point. Okay. I do go to work every day. And some days I shouldn't be working and I'm still working. Okay. And now let me just sneak in Wordle around the time I occupy. Yeah? That seems wiser. So much Wordle. Okay. All right. I think we got it. All right. Yeah, and TV. Always. I can value a lot of things as super important, but realistically, I can only commit to living out one or two in any given year. The funny thing about New Year's Eve is that a lot of us who are working have had a week off. Or if you're retired, you had a different kind of a week where you got to see lots of friends and family, yeah? This week off empties the jar. You don't have to do anything. It gives us a chance to look at the empty jar and say, you know, I didn't realize how much I enjoy spending time with family. Or, I'm so glad I got to take a walk today. Or, it's really nice to cook good food again. I should do more of this and less email. So we find ourselves on New Year's Eve saying, I need to reorder my jar next year. Just at that moment when we're about to make some sort of spiritual awareness, in come the commercials. You need a Peloton in 2024. Why don't you already speak Spanish? Get this YMCA membership for $0, right? And they come at you with ad after ad. They find you. They're advertising in my Wordle. There's nothing wrong with those activities. If you want to exercise, go exercise. If you want to learn Spanish, yeah, learn Spanish. That's awesome. The thing is, our jar is only so big. There's only so much energy you have in a day. And so as we get to this New Year's Eve and we start imagining new lives in 2024, that might mean you need to give up something that took up that hour. Maybe that's good. Maybe you were spending an hour on your phone getting mad at the news, and swapping in a walk with a friend every night is probably going to be better for you. But for most of us, most of the day is rocks, right? The stones, the work. And it feels like we're treading water. It doesn't take long into January for most of us to give up whatever we promised ourselves. That was our rested, on vacation, late December brain. That was not our January brain. So the question to ponder today for us all is, what do your values call you to do this year? Is it what the commercials throw at us? Could it be instead, how does my belief in the inherent worthiness of everyone show up in 2024? Could it be, how does justice, equity, and compassion show up in my relationships with others this year? We get some choice in how we spend our time, and values determine what goes in the jar first. Here's the thing. The big rock that you need in your jar next year might not have anything to do with doing more. It might be about taking care of yourself. The big change you or I may need next year is to claim a big old space for healing in that jar. If you're coming into 2024 with a scary new diagnosis, or a relationship that needs to end, or some grief, or some other painful or difficult thing, maybe the first and biggest rock you put in your jar for 2024 is compassion. That can look like therapy, or a meditation practice, or conversations with a friend every day. Usually, the jar we forget to put in the rock we forget to put in the jar is compassion. The rock we forget to put in the jar is compassion. In this season of new beginnings, of the sun's long and very slow return, of our trees doing their deep and pliable work, I invite us all to take time to reflect on what we value. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be great at yoga or learn Spanish this year. You're already sufficient. But you do value some things, and we show that with our time, our effort, and our care. If you already knew that you were enough, that you deeply mattered to us, what would you resolve to do in 2024? I don't fault Peloton for trying to sell bikes. They exist to make a profit. They're living out their value. But you and I, You and I exist to love and be loved. And so, whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world calls itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Be it resolved.